Hello and welcome to this edition of Shelby This Week. The results are in. The township has officially released its top 10 priorities list for 2020. A joint partnership with the police department and the Neighbors app will better provide safety for the township community. And honor and recognize these men and women who served our country on Veterans Day. We have these stories and more on this edition of Shelby This Week. The 2020 Top 10 Priorities list is out. In the past, a new senior center, library, and court building has made the list. Now, with those buildings addressed, things like redevelop the former court, library, and senior center for community use, continue regional path system, and continue blight enforcement are topping the list this year. With this list in place, the township will begin to prepare for the future to better serve residents.
I think the biggest thing that I was happy to see was our number one priority, which is redevelop that former court, library, senior center, make something happen. And we do need to get our plans together now so that when the library moves first quarter of 2021, we can right away get in that mode of executing the plan that we have at hand. And as you know, this Board of Trustees loves planning ahead, so we will have some kind of plan, depending on what the Board of Trustees wants to do, of course. We will have some kind of plan as to what to do with that building.
The priorities came from information from the annual community visioning session. The Board of Trustees, department heads, and residents provided insight in what they want to see in the township. By combining everything from the three groups, the list was calculated. The priorities list has been a part of Shelby Township for the past several years. The township takes this list very seriously when planning out the 2020 year.
We have everything mapped out, and as you know, we always finish our top 10 priorities before we do our budget, because that's how we do our budget. We look at these priorities and we somehow involve these in priorities as we determine what we're going to do with the monies in 2020, and we did that. Our budget's completed, and it's going to be a good year.
With the list complete, the budget is expected to be presented at the Board of Trustees meeting in November. A recent partnership with the Ring is making it possible for the Shelby Township Police Department to join the Neighbors app community. Stacy Sansatera tells us how this new opportunity will better serve our residents.
The police department and the community working together is how we're going to keep ourselves safe. It's not just the police department or just the community. We have to work together, and this app's going to really help us do that.
Is there something I can help you with?
Ring partners with law enforcement across the country to enable better communication between local authorities and the communities they serve. Neighbors is an app by the Ring that allows its users to report crimes within their neighborhood and upload photo and video evidence to warn the local community. And for the Shelby Township Police Department, it's about being part of the conversation that is already taking place on the Neighbors app.
So we were contacted by the Ring company, the people that make the doorbells, and they said, hey, we've got an app. And I had heard of the Neighbor app, but I didn't know that they were associated. And he said, we think it'll be beneficial to the police department to join to partner with us and this app.
The Ring app is quite simply Neighborhood Watch on the next level. And I know what you might be thinking. Are there privacy issues involved?
We don't get access to anything that the owner of the Ring device doesn't give us access to. So we can send out a request for video, and when we do that, it's just like creating a Facebook post where we say, hey, we're looking for this, and we send it, and then Ring sends that out to all of the registered Ring device owners via email. And then those device owners have the option. They can either ignore it and not do anything. They can give us access, take a look at their cameras, give us access to specific videos, or they can give us access to their videos for a certain time frame. But we don't get just unfettered access to Ring devices.
The high-quality video recorded by the Ring can be an asset to law enforcement and assist in creating stronger communities together.
Our community can talk to us via, video phone Who knew we'd be able to do that? They can now document things that are occurring real time and send it to us real time. And they can reach out to us, just another way to increase conversation, like we do with our social media channels. This is just another tool that we can all use as a community to increase the conversation.
It is important to note that you do not have to have the Ring doorbell to get the Neighbors app. The app is free to download and use and lets people share, view, and comment on crime and security information in their communities.
We get a lot of tips when we put out videos on our social media. We have a lot of tips from people. Hey, I know that person. Hey, that's somebody I used to go to school with. And it's been very helpful in the past, and I just think direct access from Ring, like we're going to have now, is just going to make it more beneficial.
For Shelby This Week, I'm Stacy Sansatera.
Honor and recognize those who have put their lives on the line to protect the freedom of this country. Shelby Township is hosting the Veterans Day ceremony on November 10th. From 1:30 p.m. to 2 p.m., members of the community are invited to gather on the municipal campus. The event is free and all ages are welcome to come and celebrate these men and women who served our nation. A partnership between MSU Extension and the Macomb County Health Department will give residents information on septic and well systems. On Tuesday, November 12th, from 6:15 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., the workshop will give attendees a chance to learn how to maintain a septic system and well. If a system is faulty, it can harm a family's health and threaten the lives of pets and wildlife. With proper use, installation, and maintenance, residents can make sure their system is working to the best of its ability. This will be held at the MSU Extension Assembly Rooms. The building is located at 21885 Dunham Road, Clinton Township. The workshop is free and it is recommended that you pre-register. You can register by following the link on your screen. For more information, call 586-469-6440. Still ahead on Shelby This Week, if you have a special skill or talent and you want to share it with others, you might want to consider this opportunity at the Shelby Township Activity Center. And an event brought together animal lovers and everyone learned a thing or two about caring for animals.
To see a variety of different animals.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
The Shelby Township Activities Center is looking for instructors to teach classes, host workshops, and hold seminars and lead camps. If there is something you are interested in teaching and sharing your talent and knowledge, the Activity Center has a craft room, computer room, meeting rooms, and a multi-purpose room and full-size gymnasium. If you have an idea for a class, you can email Mike Adams at madams@shelbytwp.org, or you can call 586-731-0300. For pet lovers, it was a day filled with animals, and there was a lot of learning to be had at this event held at Macomb Community College. Kyle Warzbach takes us to people, pets, and vets.
Pet owners and animal enthusiasts alike attended People, Pets, and Vets at Macomb Community College to see a variety of different animals and take home some valuable knowledge.
Everything from how to properly care for animals, such as the importance of spaying and neutering, vaccinating, using a microchip so that you can identify your animal.
A popular exhibit was the live spay and neuter surgeries performed by former MCC Vet Tech students. This was done to show how these surgeries are done and that the advantages far outweigh the risks.
A female dog in their lifetime, if they're not spayed, has a chance of getting breast cancer 1 in 8. If they're spayed before 6 months or before their first heat cycle, that number goes down to 1 in 10,000. Same thing with male dogs being neutered. If a male dog is neutered at the appropriate age, it will decrease the amount of hormones in their body, which number one can make them less aggressive, and it can also keep them from roaming around. A lot of dogs are killed every year from wanting to get out of the house to find female dogs in heat.
Current vet tech students at Macomb were on hand to educate the public on animal care, while at the same time giving them experience in working with pet owners.
I hope that they get a better understanding of animals, that without great pet owners we couldn't have great veterinary care. So being able to be educated about the animals and the pets that they're going to have or going to potentially want to save would be excellent. And also if they're interested in doing something career-wise with animals, that they have a better understanding of that so that we can further educate and further our profession.
The vet tech program at Macomb is among the top 3% of its kind in the nation, which is great for students like Kelly and pet owners throughout Macomb County.
And already just going through 1 year, I'm so prepared and ready to go out into the veterinary field. It's prepared me so well for with education to actually be a valued member in the veterinary field. So I love this program.
For Shelby This Week, I'm Kyle Orzabach.
This week we take you to the Humane Society of Macomb, where we meet Rosalie, a very spunky black cat.
Rosalie is an all-black cat, female obviously. She is about 1 year old and she is super sweet, super soft, super cuddly, just a great cat. And right about Halloween is a great time if you're looking to get a cat. We've got a beautiful black cat. She's really laid back. She's kind of on the smaller side. She's, like I said, only about 1 year old, but she's really sweet, really affectionate. Volunteers love her. She's kind of a favorite among volunteers. Could be a little shy at first, but I mean, she warms up super quick. She's one of those like what you see is what you get kind of cats, I like to call them, where there's just not a lot of extra things going on with her. She's just a sweet cat and a little shy at first, but she's great. She's just such a cool cat. She'd be good for anybody. She really would. Anyone who's a first-time cat owner, I think she'd be good for, because she's just low maintenance. Or for a more seasoned pet owner who's already kind of knows what they're doing with cats, she'd fit pretty much anywhere. You know, it's a great time of year with the holidays coming up. It's just a good time of year. We got some things going to be going on here in the shelter, so if you haven't stopped by in the past, this is a really good time of year to come and see us.
Coming up next on Shelby This Week, we take you to the final week in regular season of high school football. And a Utica Community Schools graduate channeled his pain the last several years into a music album. Stay with us for more Shelby This Week.
Hi, I'm Matt Signorello, Lieutenant Inspector with the Shelby Township Fire Prevention Division. I'm here today to discuss escape planning. When it comes to escape planning, it's always wise to plan ahead. If a fire breaks out in your home, you may only have a few seconds to get out safely. Make sure everyone in the home knows where to go. First, make a home escape plan. It can be as simple as a family conversation. Always know at least 2 ways to get out of a room. Teach your children to escape on their own and to practice fire drills as a group. It is a good idea to keep doors closed, especially at night and especially with children. When it comes time to get out of your home, designate a meeting place, typically at the end of the driveway near a mailbox or a tree. If the alarm sounds, get out and stay out. Never go back in for anything. That's what the fire department is for. If the conditions are smoky, get low and go. Call the fire department as soon as you get outside. Implement your plan today and stay safe.
In week 9 of high school football, the Eisenhower Eagles welcome the Utica Ford Falcons to Barney Swinehart Fields. But to start out, they were terrible hosts. Eisenhower led 42-0 at the end of the first half, which allowed Coach Smith the opportunity to get his second and third string players time on the field.
Offensively, I mean, we were clicking in that first half. I mean, I thought it was the best first half that we've played in a long time around here, so I was really proud of how we came out. We were physical, made some great plays offensively. Barker made some outstanding catches, Rasky with the throws. I mean, Our run game was really starting to hit in the second quarter. So, yeah, I mean, our kids really came out on fire. Yeah, we put our ones back in for one more series, and you know, right to the end of the third quarter, and then, you know, we got the rest of the team back in, which is great. You know, we've been able to do that a bunch of times this year, and they played against a lot of their ones. You know, Ford kept their ones in for most of the game, so it's good to get those kids to play against those other good players.
As the Eagles piled up some huge first half numbers to then cruise through the second half to defeat the Falcons 42-20. The Eagles move on to the first round of the playoffs against Rochester Adams. They will host the team at Swinehart Field at 7 p.m. on Friday. ShelbyTV will be there at the game and bring you coverage. And the Utica Chieftains played their final game of the season to take on undefeated Chippewa Valley. The Chieftains started off scoring with a 79-yard pick six by Garrison Nix to put them on the board early. The two teams traded scores after that, first with a touchdown by Chip Valley's Myron Harris and then a touchdown by Utica's Gabe Oshevsky. The Big Reds began to pull away with 3 unanswered touchdowns and would lead 28-12 at halftime. But the Chieftains fought hard in the second half with great defense and a touchdown by Jason Azar to bring them within 8 points. But their valiant effort wasn't enough as a late touchdown by the Big Reds led to a final score of 35-20. The Chieftains finished the 2019 season with a 3-6 record, but the team seems to have made peace with the outcome of their season.
There's many games and opportunities we could have had. I mean, it's all in the past. I think everything happens for the way it's supposed to be, but I mean, there's nothing I would trade for, and I'd do it all again.
To watch more from these games, check out the Eisenhower Review and Chieftain Rewind on ShelbyTV. A graduate of Utica Community Schools, this former Macomb County resident is taking on the music scene. His first ever album was just released and he made time to make it back home.
To come back here in Shelby it's a unique thing because a lot of my story, my foundation is here. But because of the foundation that I had with my parents, I was always encouraged to be independent and go out there and explore things for myself.
Through his exploration, Jacob Little has traveled throughout the country doing what he loves the most, music. As a 2001 graduate from Utica Community Schools, Jacob found himself experiencing a lot of pain the last several years. And while his world seemed to be crumbling before his eyes, he honed in on his love and passion for music.
My story is one of where you can take life's experiences, because life is not always easy, obviously, but there are moments. And you can take those and say if it's a hard time, you can take that and channel it into something beautiful and put it back out into the world. And that's what this album, Laid to Rest, is for me.
The album Laid to Rest was made possible by support from so many throughout the community. With this Kickstarter campaign, over $17,000 was pledged to make this album happen, and he hopes people listen to the album from beginning to end.
It may not affect you today, it may not affect you tomorrow, but the way I crafted it is to have some form of longevity that will touch you at some point in your life. So for me, it's not about like instant fame. It's about leaving something behind that tells your story. And whether or not that affects somebody today or tomorrow, I'm just blessed to have something out there.
You can find the album Laid to Rest by Jacob B. Little and the Little Family Band on Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Turn back time on November 3rd. All clocks should be set back 1 hour beginning at 2 a.m. The good news is we get an extra hour to sleep and it will be lighter in the mornings. But bad news, the sun will start setting earlier in the evening, which means the days feel a lot shorter. And while you are changing the times on your clocks, it's also a good time to change out those batteries on smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors. The Shelby Township Fire Department always recommends residents check and change out these devices to make sure they are in good working order. That's all we have for this edition of Shelby This Week. Remember, you can always watch us online or on Facebook. Just search Shelby TV. We will leave you now with some fall scenes at Yates Cider Mill. Enjoy, and thanks for watching.